In 1953, a patent attorney from Chicago named Henriette Mertz published a book with an explosive claim that a Chinese text written more than 2,000 years ago contained directions, mountain by mountain, river by river, across North America. Follow the distances in the text, she argued, and you arrive at the Grand Canyon. The text is real. It's called the Shanhaijing, the classic of mountains and seas, and it's one of the oldest and strangest books in Chinese history. And it's just one thread in a much bigger mystery, because on 3 different continents separated by oceans and by thousands of years, ancient people who supposedly never met each other kept doing the same thing. They built pyramids, Egypt, Mexico, Sumer, China, Peru, even Illinois. So tonight, we're putting the theory on trial. Were the ancient civilizations of the world secretly connected? Or is something even stranger going on? Now let's start with the case for contact, because honestly it's seductive. Exhibit A, the pyramids themselves. The Great Pyramid of Giza, finished around 2560 BC. Step pyramids at Saqqara even earlier. Then, across the Atlantic, an ocean no one was supposed to cross for another 4,000 years, the Maya and their predecessors raised stone pyramids out of the jungle. El Castillo at Chichén Itzá, the Temple of the Great Jaguar at Tikal, the massive Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan, so large that its base rivals Giza's. Same shape, same monumental ambition, same obsession with aligning stone to the heavens. The Great Pyramid is oriented to true north with almost surgical precision. El Castillo is built so that on the equinox, the setting sun casts a shadow of a serpent slithering down its staircase. 2 civilizations talking to the sky in the same architectural language. Exhibit B, China. Around the same time the Egyptians were building at Giza's heels, the Shang Dynasty, China's first historically confirmed dynasty, was raising enormous rammed earth platforms for their palaces, altars, and royal tombs. Sacred architecture meant climbing. Worship happened on elevated stepped structures, and centuries later Chinese emperors of the Qin and Han dynasties were buried under colossal earthen pyramids that still rise out of the farmland near Xi'an today. Dozens of them, some over 40 meters tall. Most have never been excavated. Exhibit C, the Shanhaijing itself. The book describes lands far to the east of China, mountains, rivers, strange animals, and stranger people. Mertz wasn't alone in wondering, what if far to the east meant across the Pacific? What if ancient Chinese explorers reached the Americas 2,000 years before Columbus? And the Shanhaijing is the logbook. Stack it all up, and the pattern feels impossible to ignore. Pyramids in Egypt, pyramids in Mexico, pyramid tombs in China, ziggurats in Iraq, stepped temple mounds in Peru, even Cahokia, a 100-foot earthen pyramid built by Native Americans near modern-day St. Louis. Either somebody was sailing around the ancient world handing out blueprints, or we're missing something. Here's where a good detective slows down, because the moment you check the timeline, the connection theory starts to fall apart. The Great Pyramid, roughly 2560 BC. The major Maya pyramids, mostly built between 200 and 900 AD. That's a gap of 3,000 years. If Egyptians taught the Maya to build pyramids, they did it from 30 centuries in the grave. That's like saying the builders of Stonehenge designed the Empire State Building. The function doesn't match either. Egyptian pyramids were tombs, sealed, solid, meant never to be entered again. Mesoamerican pyramids were the opposite. Platforms with temples on top and staircases running up the outside, built to be climbed, used for public ceremonies, and rebuilt in layers over generations. One is a locked vault for the dead, the other is a stage for the living. They look similar from a distance, and almost nothing alike up close. The Chinese pyramids, earthen burial mounds not cut stone, built with completely different techniques, and over 1,000 years after Giza. The Shang worshipped on rammed earth platforms because that's what their building tradition, their materials, and their climate produced. And the Shanhaijing, here's the part that I find genuinely fascinating. Scholars who study the text agree it's a real geography, of a sort. But it's mythic geography. Mountains populated by 9-tailed foxes, people with holes through their chests, gods with human faces and serpent bodies. Mertz's Grand Canyon route only works if you cherry-pick which distances to trust and which monsters to ignore. No Chinese artifacts have ever been found in pre-Columbian America. No American crops appear in ancient China. For a two-way voyage across the Pacific, somebody forgot to pack souvenirs. So the trial verdict on contact, not guilty. The civilizations weren't connected. But that leaves the original question burning hotter than ever. If nobody was sharing blueprints, why does everybody have a pyramid? The answer is hiding in plain sight, and it's the kind of thing that makes you see every ancient monument differently. Try this thought experiment. You're an ancient ruler. You have no steel, no concrete, no arches, no cranes. Your materials are stone, mud, brick, or packed earth, and you want to build the tallest structure the world has ever seen, something that touches the sky. What shape can you build? A tower falls over, a vertical wall of stone crushes itself. There is exactly one shape that lets you pile material as high as humanly possible without it collapsing. Wide at the bottom, narrow at the top. A pyramid isn't a design choice. A pyramid is what gravity allows. Engineers call this convergent design, the same solution emerging independently because the problem is the same everywhere. It's the same reason fish, dolphins, and submarines all ended up the same shape. Nobody copied anyone. Physics wrote the blueprint, and the spiritual side converges too. Almost every early civilization put its gods in the sky, the sun, the stars, the rains that decided whether you ate that year. If the gods live up there, the holiest place you can build is the highest place you can reach, a mountain, or if you don't have one handy, an artificial mountain. The Egyptians, the Maya, the Shang priests on their platforms, the mound builders of Cahokia, they weren't following each other. They were all independently solving the same two problems, how to build high and how to get closer to heaven. Which means the truth is stranger and I'd argue far more profound than any lost contact theory. Hyperdiffusionism, the idea that one master civilization seeded all the others, assumes ancient people couldn't have figured things out on their own. The real story is that they all did. Human beings, scattered across the planet, cut off from each other completely, kept arriving at the same answers, the same architecture, the same sky gods, the same hunger to build something that outlasts them. We didn't need to be connected. We were already the same. We were all human. So the Shanhaijing probably never described the Grand Canyon. The Maya never met an Egyptian. And the pyramids of Xi'an were raised by people who had never heard of Giza. But every one of those monuments is evidence of a real connection. Just not the one the theories promise. Not boats, not blueprints. Something older, the same human mind, running the same experiment on 3 continents and getting the same result. And here's the loose thread to leave you with. Those Chinese pyramids near Xi'an, the biggest of them, the tomb of China's first emperor, has never been opened. Ancient records claim it contains rivers of liquid mercury, and modern soil tests show mercury levels that shouldn't be there. What's actually inside is a mystery archaeologists are still debating. That one deserves its own episode. If you want it, you know what to do.